down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hey, what's going on, Savvy Investors? This is your boy, Steve VanCauwenbergh, and you're back, or this may be your first episode, and I'm glad that you're here because I'm back. I'm trying to get it out, trying to grind it out, trying to reach my goals. And for that to happen, there's some things that you need to be thinking about, 10 things you need to overcome to be successful. Bing, bang, how you do. Number one, you've got to kill procrastination. Remember, just remind yourself, the more you feel about a specific task, the more certain you can be that the task is important for you to grow. And so I struggle with this. I'll do it later. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Nope. You got to remind yourself you cannot procrastinate. Do it now, right now. Brian Tracy, eat that frog, do the hard things in the beginning. You can plan the night before, write out the 4 things that you need to do. I've noticed success in my own little world when I start writing out agendas for meetings or opportunities or outlines. I just write out this opportunity, and I also work on this far in advance. For example, I'm speaking in 60 days at the Mr. Landlord conference. And so I just it could be overwhelming. I'm speaking for an hour and a half, all new content. And it's kind of overwhelming, right? If I just like a 10-page paper in college or a 20-page paper. So you just don't procrastinate, bite chunks, and just start writing things down, little outline, whatever it is, but don't procrastinate. If you think of something and you don't do it, you're procrastinating. Number 2, limiting beliefs of others. That's too hard. That won't work. I'm too old. I'm too young. I can't get a bank loan. I don't have a job. I don't have enough net worth. Whatever the case may be, you got to squish other people's limiting beliefs of themselves that bleed over to you. All right. So these are 10 things that you got to overcome. And that's your network is your net worth. Who you hang out with is who you're going to become. Look at the 5 people you hang around. Where are they? Where are they going? If they're only talking about getting drunk on the weekend or playing video games, that's not the person you need to be hanging out with, and vice versa. I'm hanging out with people that have goals and dreams, and we are accountable to each other, where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're going to obtain those goals. Those are the people you're going to hang around, and that leads me to bad environment. My boy Jim Rohn once said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Don't be hesitant to limit time or cut off those who continually drag you down. You hear me? I do this. That's why I have this 15-minute discovery call. If you want to hang out with me, or you want to consider me for your coach, or whatever the case may be, real fast, real dirty, 15 minutes. I limit that time. And the reason is, it's not for the other person. It's for me, because I love and I see people, their vision, their dream. And a really wonderful friend of mine told me, Stephen, you see people's dream, you see people's vision, you see their potential, but they don't see it. And I'm like, man. So I'll get going on somebody. I'm meeting with somebody, and then, a couple conversation leads into a bunch of rabbits. And next thing you know, we're writing out a business plan, and I'm thinking about loaning them money. See, you got to limit that. You got to limit the bad people in your life, and you got to limit your limitation. So I just leave it to 15 minutes. That's why I do 15-minute blocks. Number 4, you got to overcome lack of motivation. Have a strong image of what you want and what you want it to be or look like. And boom, the vision board. What are you going to look like? What are you going to weigh? What car are you going to drive? You got to have something that will give you motivation. What will it be? What will pull you? What's your why? Why you're doing it? You got to overcome the lack of motivation. Number 5, part-time dedication. I love this. To be successful, you have to continually work towards your goals, and not only when it's convenient for you or when you have nothing else to do. I tell you, I struggle with this. My whole life I've been a grinder, working it out. And then I've tasted a little success, and I just started sleeping in. And just the other day, man, I set my alarm for 5 a.m. I got up, took me about 10 minutes to get acclimated, and I opened my laptop, and I just started grinding it out. Okay? Part-time commitment, get part-time results. You got to dedicate 100 to what it is and make it simple. Make it one thing. Don't have 10 businesses rolling and try to do them all. Do one thing right now that's going to move you forward. May it be a financial goal, an asset goal, a relationship goal, whatever it is, focus on that and dedicate the time, not part-time, but full-time. To overcome and to be successful, you got to keep in mind that time is limited. Every minute wasted is another chance gone from you and from the closer you are to your goal and your dream. I know this sounds cheeseball, but time is a non-renewable source. Let me say that again to you, because we talk about solar, we talk about electricity. Time is non-renewable. It's not a battery. You can never replace time. And you really need to think of it like that. You really need to focus on, is this the best and highest use of my time? Am I utilizing all my gifts and talents? Time is limited. To be successful, you got to be aware of that. You got to understand that. Here's another one that's going to make you boo-boo. You have goals, but they're lack in specifics. You've got to listen. And I see this a lot. You've got to ask somebody for help if you can't break down each goal by step. It's got to be so micro, not macro. Macro, is like, hey, I got this goal and I want to make $10,000 extra a year. That's a macro. That's a big goal. That's a good goal. That's a small goal for some people. But how are you going to do it? How many calls you're going to make a day? And you got to run the numbers. If I make 10 calls a day that does this, it yields that. Just like years ago when I got into the real estate game, I know when I put in 10 offers, I usually got 3 somewhat responses, 7 no responses, 3, maybe 1 potential, and 1 pretty solid deal. Now, I would assume in this climate, everyone is in real estate at this moment for some weird reason, and probably 30 would be the right number. 30 deals a week, I don't know, or maybe 30 postcards you need to write. You need specifics. How many postcards? If you direct mail them, what will it yield? How much would that cost? How am I going to get that money? You got to be real specific. I'm real specific on who I'm going to call and why and what's my agenda. Okay? The problem when people get not successful, this is kind of a weird podcast because it's kind of reversed, because the reason why I throw this out here is because some people receive information backwards. Some people receive the information in a frontwards aspect, like, we're going to do this. But if you don't do these things, if you do not have a lack of specific goals, it's going to be over for you. Number 8, settling for less. I'm telling you, this is on my radar right now. Why do you think you deserve the best? You got to have self-belief in yourself, and you got to have a standard, and you got to strive for excellence. Man, in my staff, in my other endeavor, man, we talk about excellence, and we try not to compromise. And I'm telling you, if you heard me a couple weeks ago, I compromise and I get in trouble. There's red flags, and I got in trouble because I compromised, because I settled. Don't settle. Set your sights for excellence. When someone's around you talking a specific way and you continue to hang out with that person, you're at fault and you're settling. And if you think you can't get out of that circle, say it's a small little circle, that's your responsibility, and reach out and step out on your own, even if you're a follower, and try to find a new group. Set the standard. I remember being single, and I struggled with dating people, and I just noticed that it was my standard. I had a low standard. Not anymore, not even with attorneys, bankers, partners, relationships, handyman, you name it. I have a standard. So raise your standard, make sure it's specific, and make it happen. Lack of persistence. Listen, you forget that the most successful people are overly persistent in reaching their goals and their dreams. I'm telling you, I wouldn't even use the word persistent. The word that comes to my mind is relentless. That's what you got to be. Like a lion and a gazelle. You know, Eric Thomas. The gazelle's going to run and that lion's going to run. But I promise you, that lion is relentless. He's going to eat. Okay? You've got to have that type of hunger. Another example, a more visual example, is a gun to your head. What would you do if you had a gun to your head? How hard would you work? Stop being lazy and be resilient. I mean, not resilient. I'm losing my mind today. Outrageous, just relentless. Number 10, people that are not successful, they take failure personally. Treat all failures as lessons. They are just stepping stones for you to pass on towards your journey of success. I talk way too much on failure. I think we're just afraid of failure because of school, of the elementary, that, you know, if you don't do well on a test, you're a failure. Listen, you got to fail. This may be your first podcast that you've ever heard from me. And if you followed me for a while, I'm real big on failure. Failing forward wins. Embrace it. It's education. It will bring you to the better place and make you a better human being when you try. And then when you fail, you take responsibility. Take responsibility of your finances, of your marriage, of your life, of your relationship with your children, your business, your customers. Take responsibility and do the very best you can, and accept when you have a failure, it's just a learning lesson. My name is Stephen VanCauwenbergh. You tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show, SavvyInvestors.com, Savvy Podcast. If I touched you in any way or you have a question, let me know. I would love to help you.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.